Hello there. How are you? So interesting. It's come into me over the last few days of people that I've freely given help to. Some are extremely appreciative and they thank me, and they didn't have the money to be able to work with me in a paid fashion, but they returned the gift of what I supplied in spades in other ways. Testimonials, just feedback and seeing the work. Yet I've also got people that came in that kind of demanded help, and I freely gave and coached them, and then it turned into them not doing the work and then becoming codependent. And then at the very end, when I pointed that out to them, them becoming master narcissists and making it all my fault that I was causing a whole bunch of drama by pointing out her lack of gratitude, and then coming back in again and asking for more, even when I checked up on her just to see if she was doing okay, which she's crashed and burned and not been successful at all in any of the endeavors that I gave her lots of energy to assist on. But she's mangled in pain and suffering and indecision and other things. So the theme of today is, are you prepared to do the inner work? I'll lead the way. You can look at my video from yesterday. I had some stuff show up in my field that did not feel good and felt messy and really wounded to me, because there's a part of me that still is human and has had pain and suffering and relationship problems and other things, and I'm prepared to face it. Are you prepared to face the ugly little truths that are inside your system, that are in your program that you don't even know that you're doing, and causing self-sabotage to basically destroy your outcomes every day? Are you prepared to look at that? Can you look at it, and can you have compassion for yourself? Can you have forgiveness for yourself? Or are you going to play a game where you're going to run away, you're going to point fingers, and you're going to make it everybody else's fault, taking no accountability, taking no self-responsibility, being completely in victim, and blaming everybody except yourself? Well, I have some bad news for you. You created all of this for you, to teach you and to give you lessons, and for you to learn at a soul level who you are. That's simple. So all these things that are hurting you and people that are bothering you and things that aren't working out and all that kind of stuff are a program that you're running in this matrix, hologram, whatever you want to call it, holodeck, for you to learn from. And you're going to have to look at your own shit. You're going to have to see that it smells. And you're going to have to see that you ultimately are the only one that enables everyone to do the things that they've done to you or have called it in for some purpose to teach you. And if you can't own that, you'll be constantly pointing fingers and you will be not owning anything. And that's kind of fucked up, isn't it? And that feels awful. And it's like, oh, geez, well, when do I get my upgrade? When do I get to rapture out of here? When do I get to all this kind of stuff? You came here for a physical experience. You've built an avatar. You've built a life. You've built families. You've built a job. You've done all these things for a purpose. So own it. You can eject. You can pull the eject handle. You can go boom and be done. But that's not what you came here for. It's like reset the game. Reset the energetic process and then reincarnate and go through all the same shit again, because it's in your genes, you're in your genetics. You chose a family, you chose lineage traumas, you chose all these things to divinely learn from. Step into your power, step into your confidence, step into your creatorship at your own peril. Do not sit as a victim, sit disempowered, sit in this cyclical loop of, I call it spinning at the bottom of the toilet bowl. Can you reach up and grab the edge of the toilet bowl before you get sucked down the drain? Because I've been there many times. I go there semi-regularly, sadly, because when I get in despair and I get in a low vibration and I start pointing fingers and I start blaming everybody but myself, I have no way out and I'm kind of screwed. That may be true for you too. So you came here willingly and knowingly as a spirit, as a fractal of God, to basically have an experience of not being God and to have density, darkness, frustration, whatever you want to call it, all appear on your plate so that you could redefine yourself, figure yourself out, clear your karma, and move up. That's simple. So are you a good person? Do you smile? Do you feel happy most days? Do you feel like in a pool of shit most days? Do you go to a job you hate and you go and have a partner that you can't stand and you're just hanging on to that little tiny bit of love that you're worthy of because that's all you're worthy of? Holy shit, what have you done to yourself? Those are choices. You may not think you had a choice because your parents programmed it in your ear and they were codependent and they were angry and they hated each other and they yelled at each other and they had a divorce and blah, 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 blah. A million stories just reaffirm what you came here to learn. I'll tell you that the light and the love is inside my heart. Even if I don't get it from my kids or from my ex-wife or any of this kind of stuff, it's crazy. Sorry, some texts have come in, but I'll get rid of that. Distracting. So we've designed a program that we're living in and we hate. And it's kept us small. That's how our ego works. Ego, think of it as an acronym, edge God out. It's a part of us that keeps us in duality. It keeps us separated from being in our full power as a fractal of God. So to keep you not worthy, not good enough, and to believe that you have to be separate from God because God hates you or you hate God or whatever that thing is basically the program that's keeping you separated from your full power. You agreed to it. It was the purpose of coming here. Your physicality. Own it. This may be scary. This may be uncomfortable or whatever, but I'm telling you the truth. So that part of you, everybody wants to have an ego death of and all this kind of stuff, is just an advisor at the table. We need ego. We need the ability to compete in 3D society. We need to be able to discern things. We need all this kind of stuff. But the ego runs the boat. It's your protector. It's your subconscious protector. It's like, oh, geez, it's another one of them women. It's another one of those men. And oh, geez, that's a pervert. That's a bad thing. Look at the cabal. Look at all the fingers pointing. Look at all the stuff that's going on outside you that's trying to pull you out from awareness of yourself. Oh, I hate that. Look at what they've done to the children. Look at what they're doing to the world. Look at this war in Ukraine and look at this and look at that and to distract you from seeing yourself. All a big, massive matrix program to basically keep a whole bunch of people out of being in their full power as a God source creator. If you can't be comfortable with the potential that you're a God source creator, then think about it for a while, because we're all part of God source. We're not some abandoned little peon on the side of the road that God doesn't love anymore and all this kind of stuff. That source energy loves us completely and totally. And it's supporting you in a journey of being separate. Now we're being pushed in a time of great change to return to source, not because we're going to blink out and disappear and just become merged as part of the collective or whatever. The awareness, the accountability, the stories, the experiences you've had, you have broadened possibility for all of collective source that we call humanity. And if you feel you're separated and you're not good and not safe and all this kind of stuff, you're still in the program. You are being asked to step out and step above and take responsibility and own all the shit that you've created. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I've learned this in my own life, that all the bad shit was teaching you something. All the stuff that made you small and crashed you and made you want to die and all this kind of stuff was teaching you something. And you're not going to see the gift or the reward until you own it, forgive yourself for what happened, and start to see the reasons why. Have a bad relationship. Well, maybe you're loving codependently. Maybe your parents taught you codependence is love and attachment is love, and that my love comes from outside myself. Is that not what you'd want to tell somebody that you're trying to convince isn't part of God? Love comes from outside yourself? No, love source is right here. It's what makes my eyes shine and my heart shine. And it's the thing that shines through all the shit that shows up that are still part of my old program that drives me nuts and I got to look at. And if you want to know what kind of work I do every day, look at the video before this one. I was talking about stuff that I saw in my shadow and I did not enjoy, and I owned it. I looked at it and I said, yes, that's shitty. Oh, that's ugly. Oh, what a wounded little boy. All this kind of stuff. And I owned it, and I love those parts of myself because that was behavior that was taught to me very early in life. And now I am at a cognizant awareness that I can unbind myself from all the stories, all the beliefs, all the programs that mom and dad gave and all this kind of stuff, because they didn't know any better. They weren't bad. They're in the same friggin' circle as us, trying to ascend and clear and move on and be the light. So are you the light? Are you the medicine for your lineage? Are you the one that finally closes the loop so that your whole lineage, your kids, your whatever, don't have to keep standing in this eternal loop? And the price of admission is maybe your definition of yourself. And that may seem like death, but it's actually releasing what's in your shadow that no longer serves you, that's punished you and beat you down, and you are given so much support by angels, by God, by spirit, by your own inner self to basically face it, lean into it, have the hard conversations, be direct with it, and you will be free. That's simple. It doesn't feel like that right now, and that's the work that I do with people. I hold them accountable. I reflect back to them what they say, what they do, how they should and could themselves, and basically cast spells on themselves by saying, I'll cancel even before I start. I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not whatever. Well, you won't hear that from me. You'll hear me say, you are worthy. You are abundant. You are loved. What's going on here? Why do you keep going into this hole? Why do you run in this circle? And then you're going to go, tilt. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Am I doing this to myself? Is he right? Is this what's going on? All of a sudden the finger, when you're pointing there, you're pointing 3 back at you. So really, if we let somebody make us a victim, or we call ourselves a victim to somebody else's work or whatever their behavior is, it just means you're not okay with their behavior. You want to change them, which is next to impossible. You can go. People spend entire marriages, 6 marriages, etc., trying to fix the other person so that they feel better about themselves and they stop doing this thing that pisses me off or whatever. Well, 3 fingers are saying it's something to do with you, that you can't stand their shit. If this was your dream lover and the person or whatever, you would not be having a person come into your life that's triggering you and poking fingers at you and making you feel victimized. A really huge find I found in this past week was what love is. There's a range of love. There's empathy, feeling love and growing and this kind of stuff, which is the empathetic, and we call ourselves healers, and some call it the feminine, whatever. And then the other end of the range is narcissism. Narcissism is unhealed, hurting love where it's being taken and not self-sourced. It's trying to grab it from somebody else through things like gaslighting, blaming you, telling you that you're the cause, etc., etc. It's not serving anyone. And being overly empathetic and too much loving and stuff like that is the other side. And there can't be a narcissist without somebody in empathy. We end up being sucked dry. I've been an empath for my entire life. Well, what if it was never about being too light or too dark or whatever? It was about being in the center, choosing us. Hey, you can't talk to me like that. I don't have to gaslight you or whatever to make you feel that you're out of proportion or you're way out of what's okay. I just have to be direct and communicate to you and explain that and love myself and say, oh, I can't stand that when you yell at me all the time. I can't stand that when you keep blaming me for everything. I don't want to be around those kind of people. I will block them off my Facebook. I've had family members that have done it, and I just don't talk to them anymore. Not because I hate them. It's just until they grow up, I can't be around that. And there's nothing that says that you have to prostitute yourself to a family member that is a child and is not growing up, is stuck in complete narcissism, and will not see their part in what they've created. Because that's just a victim. It's a sucking hole. It's an energy that will not serve anyone. So I'm calling you out right here and right now. If you're not willing to do the work, I'm going to say don't even approach for me, because I can't help you. I can't show you the light if you're not willing to take self-responsibility for the part you've created. And almost everything is guaranteed to have a part that you created in it. So, do you own your shit? Do you see that you've been shitty a lot? I have. I'm not all love and light, and I'm not perfect. I'm not special. I'm not whatever, because I make mistakes all the time. But how you own your mistakes, how you look at your mistakes, how you reflect on them so that you can grow from them and you can be better is magic. That's what I'm suggesting. I'm going to suggest that everything's happening to you is happening for you, to learn from, to show your gritty edges, to show the programs that maybe your parents put in your ear before you even knew that that was a good program or a bad program. You're now adjusting, self-correcting, changing the course, all through little nudges of people that you welcome into your life, through these videos, through these communications. It's quite funny. I'm watching people come in and out, and they see something they don't like and they're gone. It's funny, but it's okay. Because this message isn't for everyone. This message is for people that are willing to ascend, willing to do the work, willing to realize that they're not just going to love and light themselves and all of a sudden pop up into the rapture and be all good and be past all your shit, because you didn't come here for that. You came here to work through these base level programs, traumas, karmic shit that you've been doing, clear all the contracts, clear all the old energies, move through narcissism, heal yourself between empathy and narcissism to find that center. Love and light isn't it. Because without your dark side, without your shadow, you have no power. Oh, I'm just love. Oh, just love. Everything's going good. Oh, yeah. Some people say, well, boundaries and stuff like that are part of love and light. Well, they are, but they got to be exerted with power. I will not allow you to do that anymore. No, do not do that. How many people say no? Or I guess so, or whatever. That sounds like fear to me. That's not in power. That's not in having any power behind it. How are you going to get somebody, if you're in the process of being raped or whatever, and you're not sure whether or not you deserve this, and it's scaring and all this kind of stuff, and you say no, or you just push and whatever. No, you got to stand with power. But most people don't have their power. They've given it away. They're trying to please, and they're scared that they're going to be seen as bad or whatever by saying no. Can you say no like that with a power and it poof right out of your mouth? Can you say that? Try it right here and right now. If you can't, why can't you? Because you're somehow okay with this keeps happening to me and I'm just going to keep getting lessons until I die. Because those lessons will continue. They will check your boundaries. They will check your consent. They will check your possibility. And I'm not saying anybody deserves to be raped or attacked by another person, but you call it in, whether you like it or not. If you believe that this keeps happening to me, and why does it keep happening to me or whatever, you need to look at yourself. You need to look at your thoughts. And that's what I work with people on. My thoughts have believed that I'm not worthy of a relationship for a very long time, but I have this place of love inside me now that I projected, I hoped, and I blamed and all this kind of stuff. But there's a place inside me right now where that love is growing. And that divine partner is a part of me. And it's not like I'm small because of it or whatever. I'm going to create and manifest that in my field when my body is fully ready and I fully love myself. Because the creation that will happen there is off the charts. It's not me worried about whether I'm good enough or whether I can please her and how much love there is or whatever. She's going to be whole and I'm going to be whole, and there'll be something magic that comes from that. Because I'm creating it within me. I'm making the choices. I am my worst enemy. You are your worst enemy. You think thoughts that fuck you up all day long. Why? Because I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. I don't have any money. I'm this, I'm not. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I'm not any of those things anymore. Whatever freaking sticky note you stick on your forehead, I'm having troubles with relationship. I'm not worthy of relationship. Cancel, cancel, cancel. You're going to get more of until you make a choice. And that's how hellishly painful it is. It will keep showing up over and fucking over and fucking over. And how much of your life is a living hell? Mine was. Go back a year, 2 years ago, I was just in a sucking hole of despair and anger and frustration. My kids won't talk to me and this won't happen, and I'm having bad relationships and these women are using me and blah, 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 blah. I own it all. I was letting women use me. I was not worthy enough in my body to be able to expect more from them. So I got what I expected. Yuck. That was disgusting. Well, I learned because I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself enough. I was just hoping for anything. I was still in my mommy wounds where my mom was hurt and wounded, and I was hoping that she would show up and in power and show me the clear divine feminine and all this kind of stuff, but she wasn't capable of it. Is that her fault? Well, it's her choice, but she went into that program and she never really got out of the program. So, and I bought it. I bought into it. I was born to those parents so that I could have that experience. So now I own it. Okay, that was not fun, but now I know where my power is and why I choose that and how I stand up to women and be direct with them and all this kind of stuff, not in uncomfortable ways, but in ways that show my power, my masculinity. And I have women drawn to me now that love my masculinity, love that power, love that ability to choose myself, because I'm choosing me and I make a frame for them to choose themselves. Not coercion, not hoping, not indirectly saying, hey, I want to be with you and I want, or whatever. No, it's like, well, you want to join me on this journey? Let's have a talk. I want you to be really truthful with me. I want you to be direct with me. I want you to do all these things. Are you willing to have that as well? Somebody's going to be direct with me? Somebody's going to tell me the truth? I'm not sure. They can shine their light on me and I'm going to be okay with the shadows that they're going to see. It's the biggest gift that you can ever give someone. And that's what relationship is all about. Seeing somebody from a different perspective show up in your life, and they have wounds, they have whatever, and that's where vulnerability comes in. Talk to them and explain what your triggers are and why it's a trigger and why it's uncomfortable for you, etc. But at that point, they get intimacy or intimacy. And I'm not talking sex. I'm talking about seeing that person for the truth of who they are. And unfortunately, the word sex has been tied into it, or the act of sex is intimacy. No, intimacy happens far before sex if you're doing it right. If you don't allow a person to see into you, to see the truth of who you are or whatever, you're just a mask. And you're armored up before that act of union or sexuality or touch or whatever. You're hiding. You're kind of curled up in a ball hoping they don't see you for who you really are. Do you want to be with a person that doesn't know who you really are? Or would you prefer them to believe that you've got it all put together and you're doing good and all this kind of stuff? That's a lesson in disaster. Because the first time that they see you're lying to yourself, it's going to feel like a lie to them, and the whole relationship will explode into a million pieces. But if this is all I can be. Yes, I was raped. I was this. And my dad hurt me, and my dad spanked me a lot and yelled at me over my vegetables and all this kind of stuff. If I'm true about that, not to be self-deprecating and hey, I'm wounded and I'm lesser than you and but if you can share vulnerably who you are, what defines you, etc., you can then open yourself to have a container where that person can reflect with you and share a truth with you and be equally as vulnerable And then you can handle anything that shows up. And that's going to be the inner work. We can have another person support us in that if we let them in on the right terms. Not a codependent. It's like, oh, you got to be perfect. I'm waiting for the perfect guy. I'm waiting for the perfect girl. And if you check this off and check this off and check this off, you're not good enough for me, and all this kind of stuff. It's proving yourself, which is a nightmare. Trust me, the person I want to welcome into my life is somebody that's self-aware and is doing the work and will ask the hard questions and will answer the hard questions. Not to get off on bringing somebody else down, but to shine into them that who they are is okay, and that if they're willing to do the work, to lean in, to face all the stuff that's ugly, trust me, a trigger will no longer be a trigger once you can face it in truth and light. Oh, you're triggering me. I had that happen yesterday, trying to get a reflection from somebody that's in my life or whatever, and I'm scared to ask this question: what do you feel from me when you met me, and all this kind of stuff. We haven't got to the point that the discussion's gonna be had, but she was quite grateful, and it was a theme for her in her world right now. So we draw in people that are capable of meeting us at levels of intimacy or awareness, and we can start to create a container around us where you ask the hard questions to other people. How do you see me? Do I come off with a wound, or am I projecting that on you in the way I'm speaking, etc.? I don't believe I am from these, but the fact that I'm wounded and have been wounded, if I don't acknowledge it, I become this kind of guru, like I'm better than you and all this. I don't want to be better than anybody. I'm just lucky I got it held together myself. But I speak openly about the shit that I've been through, the stuff that felt icky, so that other people can feel okay in going through that same thing. This is the process of waking up. And anybody that's willing to look at themselves and see their shadow and grit their teeth as they see the ugliness of what they've created, and then take a breath. Okay, I'm past that. My friend Brad calls it Paul 2.0. I'm Paul 2.0. I'm not that old version that kept getting hurt and wounded and all this kind of stuff. I'm welcoming and better. So put your name and put 2.0 after it. What is that? How does it feel? What are you going to do different? Be a different person. Hey, I speak back to that. Hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. Hey, what's going on here? I feel some energy. Where before you'd be just like, he's kind of angry. Oh, well, I'll try and not hurt him or make him feel more uncomfortable so he hurts me back. That's self-deprecating. That's you losing every time. So how many times do you shrink back? How many times do you not speak up? How many times do you hear a voice inside that says, hey, you be quiet, shut up, kids should be seen but not heard? All this kind of stuff. These are all programs that are running in your back office, and they're not serving you. So own it. Lean in. And I'm beautiful at shadow work because I can do the shadow work. I can do it with you, and I can poke you on the stuff that you need poking on with your permission. That's what my work is. Show you what's in your shadow, be truth, ask you some hard questions, and basically you go away and you start processing. It's like, okay, I'm doing this to myself and whatever. Not that I'm trying to make you believe something or whatever, but I'm just reflecting for you so that you know it. So, hello, Akasha Love. It says you're joined. So, I'm going to conclude now, but what is in your shadow that's making your life hell, and are you willing to face it, is the real question. So lean into it. I'll help you lean into it. That's my job. But once you lean into it, it will never harm you again. That ugly, scary dragon, you'll call it, that person that scares the hell out of you or whatever, with the right confidence and the right perspective and all this kind of stuff, they're only showing up to teach you something about yourself, or to give you an opportunity to stand up for yourself, or allow you to love yourself more. That simple. You're not a victim. You're not constantly bringing in the same shit. But if you can't face them, you're never going to get ahead in life. And I'm not saying physical attacks or punching or anything like that. I'm saying standing up to them. A lot of times, those people that are real shits in your life are just wounded inner children that need somebody to stand in confidence towards them, and they'll have a chance to change too. Not that we have to change them, just that's why they're railing at you. That's why they're narcissists. They're waiting for somebody to shine love on them that can show them that they don't have to narcissistically take it, that they are worthy of it themselves. Pretty fucked up, isn't it? I love you. I thank you. It's been a long one, but you're worthy. You're loved. You're abundant. And if you can't see that for yourself, let me help you show you, because I'm really good at it. Have a good day. Join me. There's a link in my bio to my booking page. If you wanted to, I'll spend half an hour with anybody just to figure out if we're compatible at no cost. And then let's walk a journey. I can show you what you can't see and get you on so you're self-sufficient and don't have to come back to me, and can come back only when things get real. That's the way I work. I love you. Have a good day. You got this.